Hey friends, welcome back. So I wanted to share with you something that happened to me recently that I think should serve as a huge warning to all of us of what not to do when you're playing your vinyl records. So let's just start at the beginning. Recently, I had a friend come visit me, and we were hanging out right here in the studio, and we were playing some good music. Now, I had just gotten this album, Close But No Cigar by Delvon Lamar Organ Trio, which is a fantastic record, and I had already listened to it, but my friend hadn't. So I made my way over to the turntable, and I was in kind of a hurry because I wanted to share this awesome music with my friend. So I placed the record on the platter and fired up the motor, but as I was reaching for the finger rest on the tone arm, I tried to grab it, but instead I accidentally bumped it and it jumped out of the tone arm rest and then came slamming down directly on top of the record. I was mortified. And of course, the receiver was on too, so this crash made a loud screeching noise through the speakers, which was unpleasant. And then finally, the stylus came to rest right on top of the record label. Now, this whole thing only lasted for a second or two, but seeing it right in front of me as it was happening, it felt like a lifetime. And now I understand when people use the expression deer in the headlights, because in that moment, I was the deer, frozen in place, just watching this terrible event unfold. It was awful. Now, after that moment, when the shock wore off, I grabbed the tone arm, correctly this time, placed it at the beginning of the record, and started playing it like normal. Basically, I was trying to pretend like nothing had happened, and I just wanted to sort of put it out of my mind. Well, although track 1 and 2 played just fine, by the time we got to track 3, Ain't It Funky Now, we started hearing a loud pop sound repeating over and over again, which confirmed my worst fear. There was definitely a scratch on that record. So to assess the damage, I stopped the turntable, carefully secured the tone arm to the tone arm rest, and then looked down at the grooves, and sure enough, there was a huge visible scratch horizontally across the entire song. And that sucker was pretty deep too. When the needle came slamming down, it carved the frickin' Mariana Trench out of this thing. So essentially, track 3 was kaput. Now, why am I telling you this embarrassing story? Is it because I'm some dunce who doesn't know how to work a turntable? No. I'm sharing this with you so that you don't make the same mistake I did in this situation. Never be in a hurry when you're playing your records. That's really important, because if you're in a hurry, it's very easy to damage either the record, the stylus, or both, and that could be a pretty expensive mistake. Now, fortunately for me, the stylus was completely fine, and I was also able to get a replacement record right here on Amazon for about 25 bucks. So this was the original, this was the replacement. Can't even tell the difference. So I'm very thankful that this album was still relatively new and is still being pressed at the moment. However, that being said, part of me wonders, what if it had been my original Sade Love Deluxe record, the first record I ever bought? How awful would that have been? I honestly don't even want to think about it. So yet again, let this serve as a warning. Never be in a hurry when you play your records. I've been collecting for a while now, and it happened to me, so it could happen to you too. So consider this like a public service announcement or something like that. You never want to be in a hurry when you're spinning your records. You want it to be kind of like a leisurely activity. You know, brew a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or whatever you're into, kick back and take your time. And also, as a side note, if your turntable has a cue-up lever, try to use that as much as possible so that way you can avoid making this type of mistake. Now, my turntable, the Fluence RT85, does in fact have a cue-up lever, but unfortunately it hasn't been working so well lately, so I'm not really using that at the moment, and I'm just being super careful every time I drop the needle. Have you guys had problems with your cue-up lever as well? I'm wondering if that's like a common thing. Anyways, getting back to scratched records, has something like this ever happened to you? Share your horror stories down below with the rest of us so we can all sort of collectively grieve these terrible situations. And on a much lighter note, if you love vinyl records as much as I do and you don't want to see them scratched, then hit that subscribe button and bell notification so you won't miss out on the new videos. And most importantly of all, friends, have an awesome day, stay safe, and keep spinning that vinyl slowly.